Let's talk about that moment. Let's relive it. What a time it was for Canadian soccer. What a time it was for you and your teammates. Let's talk about going back to that Mexico game where Richard Hastings scored that unbelievable goal to knock out the Mexicans, and everyone all over CONCACAF was shocked. Talk about that game first, Tony.
That was a very special moment for everybody. I think it was an occasion that happens once in a lifetime. The stadium packed of Mexicans, around 65,000 Mexicans, just cheering for their team, the national team, and we were there like a underdog and happy what happens. Corner kick for Mexico, counterattack, and 2-1 Canada. So I think was one of the greatest moments for soccer for Canada.
Tony, talk about going up against one of the super giants, not only in CONCACAF, but in the world, Mexico, before the game. What was said in the dressing room before the game by Holger Osiak, your head coach, by your captain, and by some of the leaders, and yourself, who has played soccer in Brazil before you came up to play with Canada? You had experience. What was said when you were getting ready to take on the Mexicans?
Essentially, we were relaxed at that time because we knew that we were as a underdog, but we just wanted to do our best. We went in the field to enjoy the game and try to put pressure on the Mexican team without getting scored in the beginning. And kind of didn't happen. They scored, but we could have held their team, not allowing them to get a chance to make more goals. And inside the dressing room, I think everybody was in the same page of understanding how difficult it would be, and we were there just to do our best, and our best was that huge victory that we had.
Tony, let's talk about after that game. All of a sudden now this freight train was unstoppable for you and Canada against the rest of the CONCACAF nations. There was something special going on. Did you guys realize this at that moment, or did it take you guys to realize until you got to the final, like, hey, we've made it to the final here, now let's get the job done and finish it off?
Actually, when you have that huge victory against Mexico, 65,000 Mexicans in the stadium, I think you get into a strength that you never had in your life. So I think that point, when we won them, we were full covered of potential and strength to go all the way to the end. You know? We found inside ourselves that we can beat Mexico with 65,000 people inside the stadium. I think nobody could stop us now. So that moment was a key point for us to go all the way to the end, like we did.
Tony, to me, watching that Gold Cup, watching that game against Mexico, and then the final, there was something special about you and your teammates when you put on that jersey. You left blood, sweat, and tears out there. There was a unity. There was a bond between each other. You guys would go through a brick wall. Talk about that bond that you guys built, still have to this day, those friendships.
To have success in your life, to achieve such a conquest like we achieved, it's not like just you're lucky or just happened in that time. We actually had a team of great players. We were playing all around the world.
Tony, your phone is just breaking up right now. We're just going to put you on hold, and our producer will call you right back because your phone is really muffled right now. We'll put you on hold. And we've got Tony Menezes on hold there. Hopefully he can get a better connection there. But again, what a moment, what a time that was for him and all his teammates. As he said, after Mexico, you knew that something special was taking place, and you could sense that Tony Menezes, Jason DeVos, all these guys, Greg Forrest, were really keeping the guys focused and making sure what the job at hand was. And we've got Tony Menezes back on the line, hopefully with a better connection. Tony, let's talk about some of the youngsters that were on this team, mixed in with veterans like yourself, that all were working for one another. You had the veterans like Greg Forrest. You had experienced guys like yourself. But when it came time to play against the Mexicos, the Colombias, you guys all were on the same page. You never took off any minute of the game. Talk about it.
That's a good question about it, because sometimes when you're in a team that you have some veterans and young players, it doesn't connect very well because the veterans, they don't allow the young players to get in and do their best. The players get kind of shine inside the field or they don't work well. In our occasion, Greg Forrest, Divos, me, and other players, we knew that we had to push the young players together with us so we could connect very well and do our best. So the young players really trust us. We gave them the power to play, and that's what happened. They got comfortable playing beside us, and it worked very well, this mixture of young players and veteran players.
Tony, you get to the final against Colombia, and you have coach and Holger Osiak, who is no stranger all over the world coaching, and yourself and many others that have played in different leagues all over the world, yourself in Brazil and some of your teammates in Europe. How important was that experience now for you personally, Tony, transferring it over to a big game against Colombia? All those games you played in Brazil, all the pressure that you experienced in Brazil, how good was it now that you played those games to get ready for possibly the biggest game of your career in a competition like the Gold Cup?
There are certain games that I really love to play. When it comes to finals, gets to games that we're underdogs or the stadium's packed, that's where I feel very comfortable playing, and most of the players there felt comfortable doing that. So when we get into a final, it's like the last shot for a national team that we never knew again when we're going to get in the final of a certain competition. So we went 120% of each other to get that title because, Canada's soccer national team to get in a final, it's once in a world time. So that was like a gun with one bullet only. So we knew that, and we went in there and just did our job, and thank God that this happened because I'm Canadian, I'm proud to be Canadian, and I'm proud to be in history of soccer of Canada, and that's what I'm going to take for the rest of my life.
And it's an unbelievable moment, Tony. I get up thinking about it because going back all these years, I had my Canadian flag, my Canadian scarf, and one of my sons was born at that time. And living in this area for a bit and your parents in Canada, World Cup time, everyone flags their nation's flag on their cars and honks the horn. Well, I was doing this with my son and people were looking at me as if I was crazy. But I was happy for Canada, happy for you and all the boys there that finally something good happened to Canada. But before that, Tony, let's go back. When you got that call by head coach Holger Osiak that wanted you to play for Team Canada, we know at that point that Brazil was after you as well. What put you over the edge to commit to Canada ahead of Brazil?
Actually, I'm born in Canada. My heart's Canadian. I lived in Brazil a long time. I played in Brazil, but my feeling, my emotions are here. So I can do nothing unless come here and fight for my country, like I did for 9 years. I'm very proud and I'm very happy. 14 years later, still thinking about this moment. I have my jersey on my office. I have my tape on my house, always showing my kids what his dad did. So the same happiness and proudness that every Canadian had, I still have, and I'm gonna die with this inside of me, and my kids will always remember this.